So let me just get this recording. All right. So we should be, yeah, we are live on YouTube. All right. So welcome once again, everyone, to Just a Word and our weekly Shabbat teaching. I am your host, Chazak Eliyahu Yasharal. All right, here with me is our co-host, Mahar Kun Yasharal. And today we'll be looking at the third temple. Oh, this needs to change. It's not. Change the title. Let me change the title quickly. Did I take it down? I need to change the title. All right. All right, just give me a few seconds. Let me change this frame. Let me change this frame. And it takes no time, and it's done. And we are ready. Understanding the truth about the new covenant temple. The third temple, misunderstanding of the third temple. This is very important and critical for us, understanding the truth about the new covenant temple, because there are such great requirements for our temple that most of us ignore, most of us don't realize, most of us take for granted. Of course, for those of us over on this side of the world, again, keep blaming Christianity because of the lies and the fallacies of Christianity. That makes us believe that there is no much change that is needed in our lives when we say we come to the Messiah. But of course, as you look down the bottom, you see Job 9:24. This is a very critical verse that if people understood it and kept it in the back of their minds in everything that goes on in this world, they would know and understand the deceptions. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay, everything that is done in this world is a deception. The scriptures that we were not given the scriptures so we know the truth. The scriptures were given to deceive us. And so that is why the translations we have to be studying diligently, because they gave us these scriptures in order for us to be led astray and to worship their gods and to not give worship and honor to our Father. And the Most High allowed them to do this because he wants us to search for him with all our hearts, because only then would we be worthy of him. Okay? So another foundation that we need to look at, the way to eternal life. Always remember the way to eternal life, denial of self, following the Messiah, who is the way, obeying the truth, abiding in the Messiah, who is the truth, the way, and the life, and then you will attain unto eternal life. All right, just a reminder there, by the way, of the way to eternal life. So it's no cake walk, it's no 1, 2, 3, bam, and that's it. It's a whole entire life. You see number 4 here, abiding in Yahusha? That is a whole entire life of sanctification unto righteousness, unto holiness, unto eternal life. Okay? So we're speaking about the third temple. And there is a third temple deception that comes to us courtesy of the people who the world holds as being the Jews. Now, these people are spoken of in Revelation 2:9 and the Revelation 3:9 as being those who say they are Jews and are not, because they do not look like the biblical Yahudim, and they do not follow the way of the biblical Yahudim, and their history does not add up to the prophecies that were given by the Yahudim that will happen in the end times. All right? So the third temple deception, because these Yahudim, these Jews, as they call themselves, or Jewish or Israelis, they believe that in this time that we are in, there will be a third temple that will be built, and that their Messiah will come. They don't believe in the Messiah Yahusha, who is a stumbling block for them. So they believe that their Messiah will come and set up a third temple during our lifetime, and they will restore the sacrifices. As such, they have everything prepared. We're going to read a little about that, just to give us a foundation on the disparity between the third temple. Go ahead, bro. Pardon? It's foggy? Or the words are foggy. All right, the third temple. The holy, the third, is used in reference to a hypothetical rebuilt third temple in Jerusalem, which would succeed both the original Solomon's temple, built under Suleiman and destroyed in 587 BC by the Neo-Babylonians, and the second temple, built under the Achaemenid Persian Empire and destroyed in 70 CE by the Romans. Although it remains unbuilt, the notion and desire for a third temple in Jerusalem is sacred in Judaism, particularly Orthodox Judaism, and is anticipated as a place of worship. The prophets in the Holy Bible called for its construction to be fulfilled prior to or in tandem with the Messianic age. The rebuilding of a third temple also plays a major role in some interpretations of Christian eschatology. So the two religions, Christianity and Judaism, are based on this third temple. But as we said before, these Jews do not believe in Yahushua Mashiach. They do not believe in the new covenant, and this is true also with those who believe in New Testament only. A lot of people do not believe in the Messiah and say they believe in Old Testament only. Sorry, not New Testament, Old Testament only. So these people will be thrown off thinking that this third temple will be rebuilt in this time. The notion of rebuilding a third temple atop the site of the first and second temples at the Temple Mount in Jerusalem has been espoused by many Israeli Jews and remains a key subject of tension between Muslims and Jews as part of the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict and peace process. While Jerusalem in its entirety has been controlled by Yasharal since the Sixth Day, or Israel, that's what they call themselves, since the Six-Day War of 1967, it is largely internationally recognized as disputed territory between Yasharal, or Israel, and the Palestinian Authority, due to both entities proclaiming the undivided city as their capital. All right? So this is the third temple. They believe that the third temple is going to be built, and so they are now going to be kings of the world and rule the world through their third temple. This, of course, comes from the temple that was given to us in the book of Ezekiel, or Ezekiel, which is a third temple that is to be built, a third and final temple. But we're going to see the time that this third and final temple will be built has nothing to do with these people who say they are Jews and are not. And if they hear you say that, they attack you and say you are anti-Semitic and try to destroy you, these wicked people. I'm an Israelite, and if you tell me I'm an Israelite, I do not try to destroy your life, all right? So you can know evil people by how they respond to criticism. Evil people will not accept criticism. They will try to hurt you. People who are righteous as the Messiah said, as Apostle Kepha says, when the Messiah was reviled, he reviled not again. So righteous people, when you say something about them, they don't think it's true or they don't like, they don't try to attack you. All right? So let's go to part 2 of giving the foundation of these people and their beliefs. Yeah. We're going to see how far these people have gone into this deception. Low system resources. Let me see something there. You see this? It come up now? Oh, yeah. All right. Can you see the can you see it, Brother Mahar? You can't read it. Whoa. It's the same. It's fuzzy up there. I wonder why it's so fuzzy. I think maybe low resources. All right, let me read it. What chat? Let me go chat today. All right. All right. Laying the groundwork for a third temple in Jerusalem. The Temple Institute creates vestment and ritual items for use in future temple and lobbies for more Jewish access to the Temple Mount. So the Temple Mount is where they want to build their temple. And of course, there are videos that show that the Temple Mount is actually not the Temple Mount. That where they believe the temple was, that's not where it was. And of course, we're not even sure if that place they call Israel is really the biblical Israel. That's another thing. All right? When you get the understanding that the first place they wanted to build their Israel was in Central Africa, and then they wanted to build it down more Southern Africa until they settled on that area. It kind of brings to doubt if that was their third choice. How can it be the true Israel? But anyway, all right. JTA, no praying, no kneeling, no bowing, no prostrating, no dancing, no singing, no ripping clothes. These are the rules that Jews must abide by when visiting the Temple Mount, the site where the first and second holy temples once stood, located above and behind the western wall in the heart of Jerusalem's old city. Although the area is under Israeli sovereignty, the mount, known to Muslims as Haram al-Sharif, is controlled by the Islamic WAKF, a joint Palestinian-Jordanian religious body. All right, let me see Temple Mount. I don't know. Ahead of Tish B'Av, the fast day each week that commemorates the destruction of the first and second temples, the Institute released a video showing Jewish children donning tool belts and leading their fathers out of synagogue to begin construction of the Holy Temple. Our goal is to fulfill the commandment of, "They shall make a temple for me and I will dwell among them," Richmond says, quoting Exodus. The basis of a Torah life is action. All right? Of course, that making a temple for me and shall be dwell among them is twofold. Also speaks spiritually of when our bodies will be the temple. Following the second temple's destruction in 70 CE, most rabbis adopted the position that Jewish law prohibits reconstructing the Holy Temple prior to the age of Messianic redemption, or that the law is too ambiguous and that the Messiah must come first. So what these people do, they are trying to create things in the world that will usher in the Messiah, because they say the Messiah cannot come until certain things happen. So they try to make things happen in this world by their own efforts to usher in the Messiah, so the Messiah can come and rebuild their temple. All right? But as we have said before, they do not believe in Messiah Yahusha. Now the Messiah Yahusha came and gave us the new covenant in which our body is the temple. And we're going to show when the third temple will be rebuilt. All right? Just giving us an understanding of what these people have done. And of course, they have built many different things ready for the temple. And I believe that the Most High is going to allow them to build it, and then he's going to use it. He's going to use it in the temple. Silver trumpets to be blown by priests, and a wooden lyre are perched next to 2 deep pans with long handles, one for collecting blood from small sacrificial offerings, and another for large sacrifices like the Passover lamb. In another room, mannequins with beards wear the respective vestments for deputy priests and the high priest. The high priest's outfit with azure weaves, gold thread, and blessed plate with 12 precious stones took 11 years of research and $150,000 to complete. Next to it stands a massive 12-spigot sink with electric faucet, technology that Richman says will be permitted in the third temple. So how can you know that the Most High will permit technology in this temple? The Institute's crowning achievement, the temple's golden 200-pound 7-branch menorah stands outside in a case overlooking the western wall. So these people have everything ready and prepared for the temple. That's just where we want to go and see. And then now, what is the significance of this teaching? Our body is the temple. This is significance of this teaching. If the Jews, the so-called Jews, do not get this point, that the Most High has made our bodies into the temple, then they're going to be thrown off with all prophecies and everything. And for us to understand that our body is the temple, it is going to show the great requirement, what the great thing that is required of us to keep our temples clean and pure. Things that we most likely have ignored throughout our sojourn walking in the way. All right? So we know, go back to the graphic, that the first step is to deny self. All right? And the Messiah said, if you cannot deny yourself, indirectly he said, if you cannot deny yourself, you cannot be his disciple. So let's go to the first step on the way to eternal life, which is denying self. Matthew 16:24. Matthew 16:24. Of course, we're going to be using some scriptures over and over again. These are foundational scriptures we have to use in everyone, because someone can just come and be watching this teaching for the first time. So we have to give everyone what they need when they come here. Go ahead, please.
Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me.
All right. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself. Cannot follow the Messiah until you decide to deny yourself. And we're going to look at the similitude with the temple, with the description of the temple, to show that our temple must be clean. In order for our temple to be clean, we have to deny ourselves and cleanse ourselves. 1 Kings 6, verse 7. 1 Kings 6. Where is that? Verse 7. Remember, our body is the temple, so check this out.
And the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer, nor axe, nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in building.
Okay, this was Solomon's temple. Look at this. The house, when it was in building, was built of stone, made ready before it was brought thither. When we are walking in the way, okay, we have to first deny ourselves so that we can be led. In John 3, verse 8, it says, the wind bloweth where it wishes, and you know not from whence it comes. So it is with everyone that is born of the Ruach, of the Spirit. We have to be able to be brought and tossed to and fro without there being any problem or any struggle, as opposed to those who, if you have not denied yourself and you're being brought to somewhere, there's going to be resistance and there's going to be struggle. So in the building of the temple, the stone was made ready before it was brought in. So we have to make ourselves ready before we can be used by the Most High, so that there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard. So when we come to the Messiah, we don't need to be rebuilt during the process. You get what I'm saying? You are being rebuilt. He's taking hammer and chisel and forming you out. No. That should have been done already. You should have first have denied yourself so that he can take you and use you. And so most of us cannot be used because we have not denied ourselves. So we have to have the hammer chiseling, and building us when we should have first have denied ourselves. Yeah, go ahead.
What Brother Kazak just said, I'm just going to match up what is being done today to match up with what he's saying. You see, in the factory world, you know, they are manufacturing, let's say, cups, all right, and they have their quota to make. And a matter of fact, this is a real example. They have to make a quota by a certain time. So we know if I walk into that factory and I hear all those things making noise, the machine running, the bell running, pure noise going on. And if they have, let's say the CEO of the company who are supposed to be buying their material, that day when that CEO from that company walk in that office or walk in that factory, guess what? Everything lock off. You will hear no sound going on. Everything is locked off. So everything is ready. So that is why we here now, we have to be ready. So when the Messiah comes, we are ready, not still putting on stuff and stuff. We have to be ready.
That's it. All right. So let's go to another similar sets of verses. Ephesians 2, saved by favor through faith. Now, a lot of these verses that are in here have deceived many of us because these verses actually do not pertain to most of us. When the Apostle Shaul was speaking to people who are walking in the way. Most of us do not walk in the way. So when our people read these verses, they say, in time past, you walked according to the course of this world. Most of our people are following the way. They still walk according to the course of this world. That is why they cannot let go of this world. So it's not really pertaining to them. The Christians who are chasing after this world, they do walk presently according to the course of this world. Because right now they're running down the world to go back to normal. So this does not pertain to them. This pertains to people who have given up on this world, who have rejected this world and do not love this world. It's very important to people who have denied themselves. Go ahead.
And for those people who are still chasing this world, wanting things to be normal again, it is a clear sign that they are not expecting a better place. Because if they were expecting a better place, they should be happy that things are going the way it is going. It is coming to an end. So if you're not happy and still chasing the world, it is simply because you don't expect to be in the kingdom, because the kingdom isn't going to be in this world.
Yep. But it's very important because when it's speaking with Christians, they bring up verses like these. It says, in time past tense, ye walked, past tense, according to the course of this world. Almost everybody still walk according to the course of this world. So this is only for a few people. According to the prince of the power of the air, the ruach that now worketh in the children of what? Disobedience. Most of our people are children of disobedience. Continue. 3.
Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desire of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others.
And were by nature the children of wrath. Yeah. All right. So, we had our conversation in time past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind. If you're still looking and going after the desire of the flesh, it's not for you. Verse 4.
But Allah, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, had quickened us together with Mashiach. By grace ye are saved. And had raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Yahushua Mashiach.
So, this is for those who have denied themselves. I just want to record this. And that is the only way the temple can be clean, if self is denied. All right? You have to have walked in time past in the lust of the flesh. Time past, not now. Continue.
That in the ages to come, he might shew the exceeding riches of the grace in his kindness towards us through Mashiach Yahushua.
Continue.
For by grace ye are saved through faith, and that not of ourselves, it is the gift of Mashiach. Allah. Not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Yahushua Mashiach unto good works, which Allah had before ordained that we should walk in them.
We are his workmanship, and we can only be worked upon. We can only be worked upon if we have denied ourselves. All right?
And you said earlier that we cannot be clean until we deny ourselves, right? And automatically what we're seeing with that, self is dirty. So unless we empty those filth, then we can be clean. So it is not just to deny self, it's to deny that dirty self.
All right. Let's go to verse 11.
Wherefore, remember that he being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands.
All right. Shaul was speaking here to the children of Israel who were scattered abroad. Verse 12. Yeah.
That at that time ye were without Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without Allah in the world. But now in Mashiach the Messiah, he who sometimes were far off or made nigh by the blood of Mashiach.
14.
For he is our peace, who had made both one and had broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
All right. Broken down the middle wall of partition between us. This is the partition wall of the Jews and the Gentiles. The priests erected a wall, a physical wall surrounding the temple, so that the Gentiles could not enter into the sanctuary. Of course, that was not in the Torah. That was added by man. That wall was called the Soreg, S-O-R-E-G. And the soreg was highlighted by there being signs that were posted in different languages, telling the Gentiles that if they passed that wall, then they only had themselves to blame because they would be killed. And we see the account of Shaul, the apostle Shaul, when he was accused of bringing in a Gentile into the temple, and they sought to kill Shaul for doing so. Verse 15.
Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace.
All right. So the Christians look at this and say, abolishing his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. So they say, oh, he has abolished the commandments. This law of commandments contained in ordinances. This word ordinances here actually means decrees. And everywhere it is used in scripture, in the New Testament, it refers to man-made decrees. So the man-made decree is what I highlighted earlier, which is the decree to build a wall surrounding the temple that Gentiles cannot cross. The Most High did not give that instruction. So that was the law of commandments that was abolished through Messiah Yahusha. For to make himself of two or twain, one new man, so making peace. Verse 16.
And that he might reconcile both unto allure in one body by the stake, having slain the enmity thereby.
Okay. Verse 17.
And came and preached peace to you, which were afar off, and to them that were nigh.
All right. Oh, by the way, Christoph, if you're listening, this is what we spoke about the other day, the other night when we were talking about what was it, John 10:16? Other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Yeah. Huh? Okay, yeah. Or if you'll be watching it. All right. Verse 17.
And came and preached peace to you, which were afar off, and to them that were nigh.
All right. Continue.
For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Somebody needs to, okay. 19. Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of Allure, and are built upon the foundation of the apostle and prophet, Yahushua Mashiach himself, being the chief cornerstone.
So we're talking about the temple now here. Built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. That's the New Covenant temple. Yahushua Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone. 21.
In whom all the building fitly formed together. Framed together. Groweth upon an holy temple.
Groweth unto.
Start over. Okay.
21.
In whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in Yahuwah.
All right. So the foundation, the apostles and the prophets, the chief cornerstone, Yahushua Mashiach. So all the building, everyone in the building fit together. That's why when you have a gathering, the Most High puts his people together. He puts everyone there with different attributes, everyone with different talents. So each one of them fits together and comes and makes the entire whole perfect. Okay? Continue.
22. In whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of allure through the Spirit.
That's it. That's a temple.
Yeah.
You are built together for an habitation, a dwelling place, a home of Yahuwah through the Ruach. So because the Jews don't believe in Messiah Yahushua and don't believe on this work, They don't believe on the chief cornerstone, who has now become a what?
Stumbling block.
A stumbling stone. Oh, let me get it. A stone of stumbling. It's 1 Peter what again? Stumbling stone. 1 Peter 2, about 7. Let me see. Verse 7. Read, please.
Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
All right. It's a stumbling stone to these Jews because they are disobedient. These Jews, they have rejected the Torah in most part. And their primary book is called the Talmud, a book of oral traditions that they use. Yeah? Being disobedient, instead of following the Most High, they follow the writings and the reasonings of the rabbis. So the Messiah to them now, because they are disobedient, Messiah to them is a stumbling stone. All right, so it's very important. From about 20 to 21, Ephesians 2, very important that we get it. So we are all building together for an habitation of Allah through the Spirit. Okay. All right. So because we are building together for an habitation in the Spirit, we have to understand our temple, this temple, these bodies. We have to understand, and how we understand it, in Isaiah 8, verse 20, it says something very significant, and it's something that almost every teaching, this is what our teachings are based on, heavily based on. Yeshayahu 8, verse 20. Read, please.
To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
So if whatever we say is not based on the law and the testimony, the law and the prophets, then we have no light in us. We are coming from darkness. Okay? So we have to go to the law and the prophets to understand the significance of our temple. Because if the Most High is dwelling in us, if we are a dwelling place for the Most High, we have to see the standards of the Most High. And we're going to read part of a chapter that shows how meticulous the Most High is with the temple. Every single minute detail has to be in the temple. Everything has to be perfectly stated as he said. So the first temple is made to exact specifications. Shemot 26, 1 to 19. Exodus 26, 1 to 19. Read, please. You got it?
Yeah. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them.
Now this was the first temple. This was the instruction coming from the Most High. You're going to see how detailed it is. Continue.
The length of the curtain shall be
one curtain.
The length of one curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and every one of the curtains shall have one measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the selvage in the coupling. And likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shall thou make in the edge of the cherub of the curtain. That is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. And thou shalt make 50 latches of gold and couple touches of gold and couple the curtains together with the touches, and it shall be one tabernacle. And thou shalt make curtains of goats hair, to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtain shall be all of one measure.
All right. So we see how detailed this thing is. In numbers, in colors, in length, in type, but everything. And the Most High only told us to do one thing with one instruction he gave for our adorning our temple. And most believers refuse to accept and to do it, saying it's not necessary. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Continue.
And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves, and shall double the 6 curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle.
Continue.
And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is utmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle.
All right. I just want to get us a sense of how detailed and specific the Most High is with the temple. So when our body is the temple, we believe that we can do anything we want to do with the temple. We can pollute it with anything, and God will understand. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
And just in case anyone that might still be hanging up on a building, we know scripture says the Most High's temple is not made with man's hand, right? Mm-hmm. So it is definitely our bodies. So we don't want to know that we are walking around here with the temple of the Most High and do whatever we want to do, putting all kind of marks on our bodies, putting all kind of food in our stomach. Those things will not be able to have the Holy Spirit to dwell in this temple. The Spirit is there. The Spirit is always there, waiting on us patiently to get our temple cleaned out so we can enter and live throughout our temple. But we have to make sure our temple is cleaned out. Many of us, when we were in the midst of church system, we celebrated Christmas and all those things. Or if someone is coming from foreign, we get our house clean, nice curtains, house painted, the floor clean, like penny whistle.
Yes.
If you walk, you could see your face in it, very clean. Guess what? This is your earthly temple where moth and thief can break in. But you see, our temple here, if we keep it clean as Holy Most High want us to be clean, nothing can destroy it. So let's just forget about the physical temple outside there, the nice house, and get our bodies clean and ready for the Ruach to just reside forever.
And as you're talking about food, that's just one instance. There are other instances we're going to look at the end, about 8 different ways that Babylon mars our temples today. We're going to see that we cannot actually serve the Most High. We cannot keep our temples clean unless we move from the midst of Babylon. Because Babylon has everything in place to mar us.
Oh, yeah, that's definite.
All right.
And it was planned that way.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence.
Verse 37 to 40. Yeah, go ahead.
And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. and the tongues thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels.
Key verse now.
Key verse. And look that thou make them afar after their pattern. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was shewed thee in the mount.
Make it after the pattern. Most High is saying, Moses, make everything as I spoke it. All right? And this pattern, of course, is the human body is also patterned after the temple. But that's another thing. Let's go to Hebrews 8, 4-6. Most High has not changed. It does not change. I am Yahuwah. I change it not. Hebrews 8, 4-6. Read, please.
For if he wrote on earth,
If he were
on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gift according to the law.
This is speaking about Yahushua Mashiach, the great high priest. Go ahead.
Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of Allah when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, said he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shewed to thee in the mount.
Mm-hmm.
But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is a mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises.
So he's the mediator of a better covenant, which is the new covenant. And we're going to see it is the new covenant that makes the temple. We're going to look at the new covenant temple coming up next. All right? The new covenant temple, because we always hear, our body is the temple, our body is the temple. But why is our body the temple? That is the question. New covenant temple. Why is our body the temple? Ezekiel 12:36, 22-28. This is why our body is the temple. This is the prophecy of the new covenant. The new covenant, the new testament. The Most High putting his ruach within us. That is the new covenant. Verse 22.
Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus say Yahuwah Allah, I do not this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye are profaned among the heathen, whither ye went.
Mm-hmm.
And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, say Yahuwah Allah, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes.
24.
For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land.
Mm-hmm.
Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you.
Mm-hmm.
A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and he shall keep my judgment and do them.
This is it. I will put my ruach within you. That is why your body is the temple. So it's not everybody's body is the temple. It's those who are walking in the way of the Most High, who are following the true Messiah. You cannot be following a false Messiah and have the ruach of the Most High within you.
That is a very important point to bring out, that not everybody's body is a temple, because they will quickly quote that scripture. Oh, my body is a temple.
Mm-hmm.
But if his ruach is not within you, how could it be his temple? And as we said earlier, the Most High is waiting on us patiently until we deny ourselves and get our body clean so it can be his temple. So don't be tricked and deceived that no matter what, this is the temple of the Most High Yah. It has to be a temple which is clean, that he put his spirit within. That's it.
And here's the proof. As I say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Verse 17, 2 Corinthians 5.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
Therefore, if any man be in a Mashiach, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new.
This is how you know those in whose bodies the Most High dwells. All right? If the person is a new creature, a new creation, where all things are passed away and all things have become new. If people cannot say, man, you're totally different, I can't believe this is the person that I knew. If they cannot say that, then something is wrong. Because if you are in Messiah, who is the mediator of the new covenant, and if his Ruach is within you, then you will have the Ruach of Messiah, you'll have the spirit of Messiah, and the Most High will dwell in you. But if not, what spirit is driving us?
And also, Brother Kaza, it is not just that if you're not different from the world. It cannot happen. It cannot be wherein we are doing the same things like before and still claim to be the temple of Yahuwah. It cannot happen. It just cannot.
No.
So when we look at our lives today and look at our lives, let's say 2 years ago, it should be a total transformation. When you go on the street, when you talk, even if you don't talk, but your appearance, some folks will say stuff like, "Oh, you look so." You know why? Because you no longer look like how we looked then. If you open them out and speak, it should affect them because you don't talk like you normally talk with them.
New creation.
So if these things are not taking place, one, either something is wrong where you're not walking with his rock. Two, you're hiding, not going out there to be tested. Because it is like, there's no other way, family. If his rock is within us, it will be seen among others. And there should be question asking, why are you doing it? Why are you looking like that? Why is this new religion? Why is this that? Because they are confused that the same person you always hang around with is now a total different person.
And he says here, I'll put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes and keep my judgments.
So, brother, when I look at this verse, and I will put my spirit within you, right? So with him putting his spirit within you, that will cause you to walk in his statutes, and ye shall keep his judgment. So look at this now. When the wicked of this world come and cause you to take their poison, guess what? You will not walk in the Most High statutes. You will not.
You don't have his rock.
Exactly, because they caused you. So the question is, who caused you? Who are we allowing to cause us today? This is a question we need to answer within ourselves.
Cause you to walk in my statutes. So those people who rejected statutes. Oh, we keep talking about the 7th day every week because they reject his statutes. They say only his commandments. They reject the statutes that are in the law of Moses. All right? And they say that they are chosen and waiting. I'm telling you, I will put my rock within you and cause you to walk in my statutes. And if you go down to verse 29, read verse 29. Okay.
Before we go to verse 29, let me just kind of get it a bit closer to some, in case there's one person still have a small glitch. When we talk about walking in his statutes and keep his judgment, some might misunderstand by doing it by the letter. You know, I'm going to make sure I walk in his statutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When you see the word cause, that is very important. You cannot do it on your own.
He calls it all.
You understand? You cannot do it. Look, something has to be done to cause you to do such. So after today, let's stop trying to do it by the letter. I'm going to do this. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to do this. Let us allow the Most High Ruach to be within us. Let's clean up. Okay, if we clean our temple, let's get it cleaned out. The putting in is on us. That is Yahuwah. So if we go and prepare our temple, he will put his Ruach in our temple and cause us to walk in his judgment, in his statutes. That's it.
And the reason I said he calls it all, you can compare this with what is happening today in this world. The wicked are causing the world to take this injection, causing everywhere you go, they set up another barrier, another thing that you have to do in order to get you to do it. What this cause is saying is that it is the Most High who is going to cause you to walk in his statutes and keep his judgments. It's not going to be you of your own efforts. That's when his Ruach is within us. You are naturally going to be transformed through your conscience. And so you are going to follow that which is right. Huh? Yeah.
So again, for anyone who is still coward, who is still afraid to let go of everything because you're not sure how it will be done, you will not know how it will be done. The Most High, we can have an idea of when it starts things in our life, but we cannot know how he do it. And many of us are holding on to that blockage in our life. We are loving it. We feel like, okay, I'm giving up my rights. I cannot let go of this habit. That is what is holding us back. Is when we let go and let Yahuwah, we're going to realize that now we are walking in righteousness. All these years, we can't do it. We were trying to do it by the letter. And we cannot know everything that needs to be done. But Israel knows everything, how and where to lead us. So again, family, let us fully bring our bodies under subjection, denying ourselves, bringing ourselves down to zero. We are nothing. So let's stop being or acting like we are anything or anyone. Let the Most High Ruach show us who he really is.
I read verse 29.
I will also save you from all your uncleannesses, and I will call for the corn and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you.
I will also save you from all your uncleannesses. So if you're still walking in uncleanness, means that his Ruach is not in you.
Yep.
Okay? And it all starts with denying self.
Yep.
I will, verse 27, I will put my spirit within you and cause you.
That's powerful right there.
If you have your own self-determination, your own desires and lusts and everything going after your own self, he cannot cause you. The reason he can cause you is you have denied yourself and made yourself available and say, hey, wherever you want to take me, take me.
That is it.
That's the only way.
That word in verse 27 is very, very important and very powerful. Cause.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, because of that new covenant, the Apostle Shaul was able to say this in 1 Corinthians 6. What is it, 15? Read it, please.
15 or 17?
15. What is it? What I said? 15 to 20. Yeah.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of a Mashiach? Shall then take the members of a Mashiach and make them the members of an harlot? Allah forbid.
Members, your bodies are the members of Messiah. Members of the Messiah, but the temple of Alua.
Right.
You see that?
Yep.
Because we looked at it earlier and it says each one of us are fitly framed together to make it an habitation of the Ruach of Alua.
That's it.
So we are members of Messiah, but we are the temples of Alua.
Just like a tree, your leaves, branches, root, all that, we all have that one body, but,
Yeah.
of Messiah. 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, said he, shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto Jehovah is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committed fornication sinneth against his own body.
All right, so we're going to look at that some more later on. Continue.
What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of Allure, and ye are not your own?
He calls it, right? Which ye have of Allure. It is Allure's doing, not our own doing.
Right.
We only avail ourselves and make ourselves available.
So we see sometimes many of us, we try to overdo, spending all these years trying to overdo, to overknow, when we miss the mark, just to avail, just to deny ourselves, is where everything started.
Know ye not that your body is a temple of Ruach HaKodesh, which is in you, which you have of Allure, and ye are not your own? Verse 20.
For ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify Allure in your body and in your spirit, which are Allure's.
We read this many times, but we don't understand the implications. If your body is the temple, it is saying exalt Allure or esteem Allure in your body, physically, and in your Ruach, spiritually, which are Allure's. It's both physical and spiritual. Just like the mark of the beast, spiritual in the forehead, physically in the arm. Both physical because we are body and Ruach. So we exalt Allure in our body. And if we tell, oh, it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter. No. It does matter. The Most High is very specific in all things. Exalt him in your body and in your Ruach. You're saying something?
Yeah, just text verse 20. It is kind of a little tinge a bit off, but not very much off. That is why a man should not seek to save their own life, because they shall lose it. And the reason why we cannot save our life is not in our hand. Our life is in Yahuwah's hand. So because we cannot save it, we are to be willing to die for righteousness. What a profit a man to gain the whole world and to lose his soul. You see, for he are bought with a price. So therefore, glorify Allure in your body and in your spirit. Look at this now. Which are Allure's. It's not ours. It is not ours. So woe be unto every single one who are seeking to save their life. You go bow to the system, seeking to save your life. Guess what? They shall lose it.
It kind of belongs to you.
Exactly.
You're just, what you call it now? You're just a keeper. And you are going to be given accountable on how you kept it, to how you kept it. All right, 1 Corinthians 3, 16 to 17. Now, the Jewish, they have no idea of all these things because they reject the New Testament as well. Go ahead.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of Allure, and that the spirit of Allure dwelleth in you?
You hear that? Again, we said it's not everyone. All right, the Apostle Shaul threw it out, and everybody who would pick up and read the Bible and say they believe think it pertains to them. All right? Because verse 17 says,
if any man defile the temple of Allure, him shall Allure destroy. For the temple of Allure is holy. Which temple are ye? Ye are.
You see this? You see how serious this is? If any man defile the temple,
it is not yours.
It's the temple of Allure. Your body belongs to him. He says you are bought with a price. And what is that price? The Most High gave up his life. The Most High Son gave up his life so that we could be redeemed. That is the price. Life of an innocent man. That's what bought us.
It is very, very clear. It is saying it is not yours. him shall Allah destroy. Why will he destroy? For the temple of Allah is holy.
Yep.
And guess what? Which temple ye are?
We were bought
with a price.
When we come to the Most High and say we repent and baptize in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, we were purchased. We no longer belong to ourselves. We belong to him. Our bodies now become his temple. If any man defile the temple, it doesn't say if any man defile his body. If any man defile the temple of Allah, him shall Allah do what?
Destroy.
Destroy is a verb. Let's look at this word defile. And see the meaning. What was it again? No. If any man defile. Let's go there and get the meaning. Defile there. G5351. How do you pronounce this? Pathero. Pathero. Probably strengthened from to pine our ways, properly to shrivel, or whether that is to spoil, or genitive to ruin, especially figuratively by moral influences, to deprave, to corrupt, self, to defile. All right, let's look at the English language meaning. Where are we? Meaning of defile. We can't get enough there. It is defile, damage the purity or appearance of, to mar or spoil, to desecrate or profane. All right, that's what it means. So if any man mars the temple of Allah, him shall Allah do what? Destroy. And that destroy there. It's the same Pathero. No, I did the wrong one. Yes, it's the same Pathero. Defile and defile. It's the same words that are used. And destroy. It's the same word that are used. So if you mar the temple, he is going to mar you. He's going to destroy, corrupt you. That's just how it is. All right? So very importantly there, that is why we need to understand. If he's saying if we mar our temple, he's going to destroy us, we have to get more understanding of this temple. All right? Yeah.
You see, everything is keep on coming back to denying ourselves. If any man defile the temple of Allah, him shall Allah destroy. For the temple of Allah is holy, which temple ye are. So if we are not going to deny ourselves, it is simply saying that we are just as or we were born from our mother. That's it.
And we are born in sin and shaped in iniquity. We have to be transformed. We have to be born again. All right?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to look now at Ezekiel's third temple. This is the temple that is to come, that these Jewish people believe. They don't believe in this that we just spoke about, our bodies being the temple. So they're looking to the third temple. Let's just look a little at the third temple. A few verses. Ezekiel 40, verse 1 to 5. Ezekiel 40, verse 1 to 5. Read, please.
Let's go back down a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the 25th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after that the city was smitten. In the selfsame day, the hand of Yahuwah was upon me and brought me thither. in the vision of Allah brought me into the land of Israel and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was as the frame of a city on the south. And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like, could you please mute Brother El Pedro? And let me go back. Yeah.
And he brought me thither.
Okay. Brother El Pedro, could you please mute? And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass, with a line of flax in his hand, and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I shall shew thee, for to the intent that I might shew them unto thee art thou brought thither. Declare all that thou seest to the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits long by the cubit, and an hand breadth. So he measured the breadth of the building, 1 reed, and the height of reed, and the height 1 reed.
Mm-hmm.
Then came he unto the gate which looked toward the east, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad, and the other threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. 7. And every little chamber was 1 reed long, and 1 reed broad, and between the little chambers were 5 cubits, and the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate within was 1 reed.
So this is the temple that they designed. They are designed and say they are ready to build. The temple of Ezekiel, because this was given after Ezekiel was in the time of the second temple. So this was given for a temple to come. All right? It's not a temple that was already built. So this is the third temple recorded in the book of Ezekiel. Let's go to 41:1. 41:1. Read, please.
Afterward, he brought me to the temple and measured the post 6 cubit broad on the one side and 6 cubit broad on the other side, which was the breadth of the tabernacle.
Just showing this to show the exact specifications once more in this new temple. The Most High does not change, and it is exact. All right. So let's look at the history of this now and why the Gentiles were allowed to pollute the temple and why they are allowed now to pollute our temples and to actually tempt us to pollute our temples. All right? Because when we are in captivity, the Most High gives us over to the Gentiles to be polluted whenever we're in captivity. All right? Remember it says in 1 Corinthians 3:17, if any man defile the temple of Allah, him shall Allah destroy. Nothing has changed. This is how it has been from ever since, because the Most High doesn't change. All right? So if we defile his temple, it shall be destroyed. So when the children of Israel defiled this temple back in the days, he allowed the Gentiles to destroy their temple. Deuteronomy 28:64. Deuteronomy 28:64. When we do these teachings, we get to know and understand more of Yahuwah. And so get to know our Father more and more, seeking him out, searching him out. Verse 64.
And Yahuwah shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So, given over to serve other gods, to defile our temples. More examples of that. Lamentations 1, 5 to 10. Whenever we are sent into captivity, given over to the enemies to mar our temple. Lamentations 1, 5 to 10. Read, please.
Her adversaries are the chief, her enemies prosper. For Yahuwah hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy.
Whenever we go into captivity, the people who have us in captivity are the chiefs of the nations because of our transgressions. Verse 6.
And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her prince are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer.
The pursuer is given strength. It says the adversaries are the chief. The Most High elevates and exalts our enemies to the top so that we can get a right good punishment. Verse 7.
Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbath.
Did mock at her Sabbaths. Even the Sabbaths are profaned. The entire temple is profaned. Verse 8.
Jerusalem had grievously sinned. Therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sigheth and turneth backward.
Continue.
Her filthiness is in her skirt. She remembered not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Yahuwah, behold my affliction, for the enemy had magnified himself.
10.
The adversary had spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she had seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation.
So when our people are walking in righteousness, the adversaries cannot enter into the congregation. But now that Israel has been given over, the heathen are allowed to enter into the sanctuary and take away all her pleasant things. And that's how the heathen got our scriptures and were able to take it and translate it and use it for their own things to pollute us. So the point is, whenever we are in captivity, we are allowed, our temple is allowed to be destroyed, to be marred. But he said when we turn back to him, that is when he's going to turn everything around. And when we turn back to him, we have to deny ourselves in this covenant so that his Ruach can fill us and lead us into perfection and become a temple for his habitation.
So even the word, even the books, they take away, right?
Yeah.
And give us what they want to give us.
Mm-hmm.
So because of all those transgressions, you know, all these things took place. So in order for us to regain, we have to deny ourselves totally.
Mm-hmm.
You see how much things are causing us to deny ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Because it could have been where we have our script, but something happened and we don't have it. So now we have to go more than just to believe. We have to dig deeper in ourselves daily and seek with all our hearts to find what the truth is.
Yep.
And to apply it in our life.
All right. 2 Maccabees 6, 1 to 17. Second Maccabees 6, 1 to 17. Go ahead, please.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of Allur.
The Gentiles are always sent to get us to transgress against Yahuwah. And the Most High allows that in order to punish us. All right? Always. We don't want to get this twisted. This king, old man of Athens, this king Antiochus Epiphanes, this king, it is through the Greeks and the Romans that we get the religion of Christianity. The religion of Christianity is to get us to depart from the laws of our Father. We can't say this enough.
It is not so clear. That's it. When you look and see what it entails, it actually is.
That's what it is, nothing else. And so that's why we have the law done away with. The commandments is for Israel. We are Gentiles. The lies, the lies, the lies. All right? Continue.
And to pollute also the temple of Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter, Olympus, and that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
All right. So you see, to pollute also the temple. So don't get it twisted. The Gentiles, the Romans, the Edomites, we call them the white people. Psalms 96 verse 5 says, all the gods of the nations are idols. All right? Their aim in giving us this religion, with this white Jesus, white God, white everything white, is to get us to pollute our temple. And so the religion that they gave us, for example, talking about food, the religion that they gave us, pork, all about pork. And if you read the book of Maccabees, you can see that pork is the most abominable thing that these Gentiles do. Whenever they try to profane our temple, they use pork. So a pork religion led by pork pastors, pork eating believers, pollutes our temple. And that's the religion that we were given. As I said, the Most High gave it to pollute, to punish us. But guess what? Now that we come in the way, we must have the understanding and try to flee. And we should also know the intent of these people and the strategies of these people and run away from it.
Yeah. So when we come to find out that these people are the ones who give us church, the question we should be asking, well, those times we couldn't ask this question because we were lost, we were in darkness. But now we have to ask this question, who sent them? Who sent them? So we see that they came and Yahuwah did not send them, so they have an agenda.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that their agenda is up to no good. That's it. Who sent them?
Satan picked them. Anyway. And to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus. Very important. These were churches. The temples of Jupiter were called churches. Our people were called into set apart assemblies, not churches. The Gentiles gave us the churches of Jupiter. All right? Because Jupiter is closely related to God, who is closely related to JC, JESUS. All right? Verse 3.
The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
So the coming in of these Gentile thing was sore and grievous to our people at the beginning. But as it says in Ecclesiastes 1, I think about verse 10, it says, there is no remembrance of former things, neither is there remembrance of anything to come to those who shall come after. So we didn't know that this mischief was sore and grievous. So now we hug on to Christianity, thinking that it is right. Verse 4.
For the temples was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and beside that brought in things that were not lawful.
And had to do with who?
Women with the circuit of holy places.
That means the women were not allowed in the circuit of the holy places.
Yep.
And we have a religion that is made of in Christians, having women, pastors, bishops, ministers, first ladies, leading within the circuit of the holy places. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. It's Christianity right here. So many things that they brought in that are not lawful.
And also, if it is not Christianity, who are they?
That's it. Verse 5.
The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth.
So our altar, if our body is the temple, the altar is in our bodies. All right? It's filled with profane things. And later we're going to look at the ways they profane us. And we're going to see today spiritually how they profane us. Verse 6.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fast, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
All right, so this is Christianity right here. Read that again.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fast, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
If you say you are an Israelite, you are mocked by the Christians.
And it's same thing in the Sabbath too.
If you try to keep the Sabbath is done away. Oh, you're gone back into the law, you're this, you're that. If you keep the feast, the ancient feast, or fast. If you keep the ancient fast, they look on you and saying you're going under the law. Yeah? Why are you going to keep Day of Atonement? Yeah. Verse 7.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy.
So they compelled the children of Israel to follow their ways of their worship of their gods. And that's what we're telling them that they do with Christianity. Christmas. Bacchus is the equivalent, was their Messiah, the equivalent of JC. And here we have the procession to Bacchus. It's the same thing. They have forced us to keep their Christmas, the Feast of Saturnalia, and their other feasts. All right? Profaning us. Verse 8.
Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor city of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
You see that? The Jews have to follow them everywhere. And that is how Christianity is. That is why when you come and you talk to them about anything, they get very aggressive. You have to follow their way. Have to. If you're not a Christian, then you are condemned. Oh, you're in a cult. Verse 9.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present mystery.
So if you did not follow the way, so that is why so many of our people were killed throughout the ages, if you don't follow their way. So now we follow the way of the Gentiles without questioning it. As a matter of fact, we defend the ways of the Gentiles. And we don't realize that we were actually forced by penalty of death to follow those ways.
Let's go back down a bit. So we see our parent went through all of this, and they pass it down all the way to us. So we are now thinking that it is the right thing to do, not realizing that they were forced to do it. And in our days, we don't see it as a force, but we are obeying our parents to teach us the life they taught them.
And so this is why when you are in Messiah, you are a new creation. You have to come out, you have to change. You're going to be so transformed that you are going to be strange among the same people that you used to be comfortable among. They're going to see the difference. They're going to feel very uncomfortable. Verse 10.
For there were two women brought who had circumcised their children, whom, when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall.
You see all these people wicked? Yeah, man. Cast them down. They don't even drop them. They fling them.
Headlong.
11.
And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly. being discovered by Philip, were all burned together because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day.
Oh boy. Yep. Verse 12.
Now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishment not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation.
You see it? That's why the Most High does it. He does it to chasten us.
And that's why they hide his book.
And
that's why they hide his book.
Yes. Verse 13.
For it is a token of his great goodness, when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with...
forthwith punished. You see with these people who he loves, punishes them immediately.
Yeah.
Right away as they do something, bam. Yeah?
God, we should not feel comfortable in anything that's wrong.
No, but he does it that right away we know what happened to us. As I was telling about the day when the thing fell on my foot.
Oh, yeah.
I knew from the time when I was lying down, it just came to me, plain and straight.
So if that thing that fell on your foot took place like 5 days after, you wonder why this happened.
Yes.
But right away, you could identify with why, because it was done right away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You continue, 14, you'll see it.
For not as with other nations, whom Yahuwah patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us.
So he's saying the other nations, he just waits. And so that's why wickedness is unable. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He waits on them. So all of their wickedness keep piling up, and he doesn't chastise them. He leaves them alone. And they do wickedness, and the whole world is saying, how can these wicked be prospering? The Most High is giving them Lent.
And also, it looks like that is why they keep on saying they call on JC name, even in their lawlessness and things happen. They don't understand that the Most High said, give your time.
Lent.
Give your time. And they will still not repent because they're seeing everything is okay.
Yes.
What they're wanting is so in line with their lifestyle. They won't change.
So they're given a strong delusion, so they believe a lie. And so it's giving them Lent. Wickedness increasing, and they're not seeing anything. And wickedness just get, go ahead.
And if something happened to you now, they say, something wrong with him.
Yeah.
Something is wrong, because how could he be a believer?
Yes.
And this happened to him?
Yes.
That man not living right. You see, again, family, I said, if we live the opposite of this world, that is where we want to be. The opposite of all these folks are living in this world.
Yes. So when they see things happening to you, it's the Most High, this love that is chastening you so that you make corrections. But them, verse 14 to 15 again.
For not as with other nations, whom Yahuwah patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Lest that, being come to the height of sin, afterward he should take vengeance of us.
All right.
Until I say being come to the height of sin.
Yes.
And afterward, no, he should take vengeance of us.
No, it says less that. So he punishes us immediately.
Otherwise.
So that our sins don't pile up on us.
Right.
So we'll have to just pour out all his wrath on us. Yeah? Verse 16.
And therefore, he never withdraw his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doeth he never forsake his people. But let this that we had spoken be for a warning unto us. And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words.
Okay. So that's the point that we make, all right? Most High gives us over to the Gentiles to be polluted, and he corrects us immediately after. All right? But Satan, the adversary, because the Most High allows Satan to do this, here is the thing. The Most High permits Hasatan. Hasatan uses the Gentiles to pollute the temple. All right? They are his tools, as it's told in Revelation 13:1. The beast has the 7 heads, just as Satan.
And just what he said a while ago, that Yahuwah uses a Satan and he have his tools to work on his behalf, right?
The Gentiles.
So, yeah, the Gentiles. So in today's world, we are seeing the same implication taking place. The contractor for this hotel, he get a job from the company. And of course, he's going to get his tools, his other workmen to get a job done. Very same thing with Satan. Yes, he's there being used as a contractor. How are you going to assign stuff to his demons to get things done?
Yep. Because the whole aim is to punish the Most High's people so that they are corrected. That's the whole aim of using the evil, allowing the evil to pervade. So Satan uses the Gentiles to pollute the temple. Jeremiah 51, 5-10. Jeremiah 51, 5-10. Why am I hungry already? No business. The truth is the truth. Oh boy. Let me just eat it. Anyway. Also, Jeremiah 51, verse 5.
For Israel had not been forsaken, nor Judah of his allure of Yahuwah of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel.
So, Israel, the house of Israel, the house of Judah will not be forsaken, even though they sinned against Yahuwah. Let's see them using the Gentiles. Verse 6.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon. I lost it. Okay. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
I remember, Babylon has been thriving itself for so many years. Remember, we just said he allows the sin of the wicked to mount up. But what is he telling his people? He's telling people, get out.
The time is coming when the rope is going to stop.
Ah.
You see?
Yeah. And guess what? Remember, we said it, he piles up everything. So when he piles up everything, that wrath is going to be so great.
That's it.
Even his people will be destroyed who are in the midst of them.
It's a warning also.
Ah, but verse 7 says,
Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand. He's using them, right?
Yeah.
That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
That is why none of the nations come to Yahuwah. Yahuwah uses Babylon to make sure the nations stay away from him, because he has no ratings for the nations. All right? Isaiah 40 verse 17 tells you that they are nothing to him and less than nothing.
Yeah.
All right? So he uses Babylon to keep the nations away. And he uses Babylon for all those who want to be drunken, even those among his people who love Babylon and love the system. They are also going to be destroyed among his people. But he's warning them here, saying in verse 8,
Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed.
All right? If it is possible to heal Babylon, but verse 9 tells us,
we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed.
So because she's not healed, you're going to have to run away from her.
Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country.
Again.
For her judgment reacheth and is
lifted up.
For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies.
Even to the skies. That's how big the judgment on Babylon is.
So with that length he was giving them, everything was being piled up. Right? So now we see it is so piled up till it reaches unto where?
Heaven.
And it's what? Lifted up to the skies. So it's time for judgment.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Verse 10.
Yahuwah hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, let us declare in Zion the work of Yahuwah, our allure.
Let us declare where?
Let us declare in Zion.
Not in Babylon. You don't declare the work of Yahuwah in Babylon. You flee from the midst of
That is
Babylon.
it. And also, we spoke on this matter some time ago. I'm going to speak again openly with more people. When we see the works of these wicked, don't be upset. Do not be upset. When we see these scriptures today, we cannot be upset with the Most High is doing. They have been used. And if we continue to be upset and talk bad about these folks and talk against their doing, we're talking against the Most High is doing, because it is allowing these things to bring us to perfection. So we must be happy that that which was said is happening today. So we can see that, yes, the scripture is fulfilling, and the Most High did say this, and it is happening. All right?
Babylon cannot be healed. You see, with Babylon, you cannot serve the Most High. Your temple cannot be clean as long as you are in Babylon. Babylon is so polluted, so hyper polluted. Babylon is so hyper polluted that as long as you're in there, you are going to be polluted. All right? They have a combination of things that they use. And Satan uses Babylon in order to pollute us. So as long as we are in Babylon, Satan is going to have the dominion over us. Isaiah 14, verse 3. As long as you're in Babylon, Satan is going to have that dominion over us. Verse 3.
And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahuwah shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherewith thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor seized?
This proverb against who?
The king of Babylon.
And Isaiah 14 tells us about Satan wanting to be like the Most High. Satan working through Babylon. So that is why the world is so polluted. And that is why if you follow the rudiments of this world, the world system, the runnings of this world, you're going to be polluted. Food. We're going to look at them in the end. All of the things that these people pollute. And you're going to be like, then how can we survive? How can our temple be holy in the midst of these people? That's why he told you to flee from the midst. Yeah. You cannot be holy. A temple cannot be holy if you're in the midst.
I mean, I'm kind of still wondering if there's anyone here don't understand what is going on here. When we see what Babylon is about, what the Most High is about to do, and what it means when they say, hey, leave from the midst of, because I'm going to judge these people. So it is automatically, if we don't leave, we are disobeying the command, you know. And if we stay, we can complain that, hey, the Most High slew us. He wants us to leave from the midst of her.
And what did he say? Revelation 18:4.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that he be not partakers of her sins, and that he receive not of her plagues. So look, there are some plagues for her too. Don't be partakers of them, family.
As long as you're in the midst of them, you are going to be partakers. He said, come out of her, that ye be not partakers. That means if you're in the midst of her, you are going to be judged as being partakers.
And while he's saying this and give us a reason why we should not be in the midst of her. That's because this thing will happen.
All right. Let's get back. All right. Verse 5.
Yahuwah had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
6.
He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nation in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
Verse 7.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
This is when Babylon is brought down. All right? So verse 9, verse 8.
8.
Yeah.
Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedar of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy viols, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Allur. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the height of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
So Satan, leading Babylon, is trying to achieve this today. Ascending above the heights of the clouds, being like the Most High, through this mRNA thing that they are putting into people, which I've spoken about so many times. All right? But he shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. All right? All right, let's go to Revelation 17, 1-6. Satan using the Gentiles to pollute the temple. So, in Isaiah 14, we looked at it. Them polluting the people with this thing that they are putting inside of them. We can't even speak properly. We have to be watching our words so carefully before these people don't penalize us. 17 verse 1.
And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Remember, we're speaking about the temple, our bodies being the temple. What these wicked did, what Babylon did, he gave us a false worship order, false religion that would get us to pollute our temples and to get us to be in rebellion against the Most High. This false institution is known as Babylon the Great. All right, continue.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Continue.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns, like the dragon in Revelation 12. This is Satan manifesting himself through religion. All right? Scarlet-colored beast. Verse 4.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
If you are following any neo-Christian religion, then you are following the religion of Babylon the Great. Because this is it right here. The Catholics own and run Babylon the Great that is described here. This woman is Christianity led by the mother, the Catholic Church. So anyone who comes with any Christianity saying that it is the truth, you are merely repeating the religion of Babylon. Remember, we were given into captivity as punishment. As punishment, so our temple be marred for our chastisement, but then we are awakened so that we turn back from our evil ways, from following after the religions that we were given, and now turn to the Most High. If you remain in this abominable religion, you are in Babylon the Great, and hence you are in the midst of Babylon. You have to flee from Christianity to flee from the midst of Babylon. You have to flee from Babylon. Verse 5.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth.
The mother of harlots and the rest of the harlots are the Christian denominations. Yes? 2 Thessalonians 2, 3-12. 2 Thessalonians 2, we've done this so many times. Read it, please.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Same thing in Isaiah 14. Go ahead.
Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called Allure, or that is worshipped, so that he as Allure sitteth in the temple of Allure, showing himself that he is Allure.
This is the same thing as Isaiah 14, 12-14, or thereabouts. Continue.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now he know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who know letteth will let, until he taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahuwah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
So this is the pollution that we have been going through throughout the ages. Evil system, evil religion that we are in. And we just have to wake up and come out of it, because there is one counteraction to the lies and to the marring of our temple, and that counteraction is the truth. If we have a desire for the truth, then we can escape out of this system. If we do not have a desire for the truth, if we seek religion, or we are seeking a resting place, a comfort zone, then we will be deceived and we will be destroyed in Babylon. Continue.
Let me go back to 8 for a quick second there. All right, verse 8 here. For anyone still don't get it, any one of us are still fearing the things of this world. We have to understand by now, everything of this world is the doing of Satan, the wickedness of this world. Because we see in the beginning, the earth is given in the hand of the wicked. That's one. There is also a scripture saying Satan deceived the whole world. Whole world. Back to 8. So, if it is not Yahuwah's way, it is going to be automatically the way of the wicked. Verse 8 here in 2 Thessalonians 2. And then shall that wicked be revealed. All right? Who is the wicked? Whom Yahuwah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So this is who many of this world fear, brother. See. He which Yahuwah will destroy with what? The brightness of his coming. That's it. So we must fear Yahuwah, who can do all these things, and not fearing the wickedness of this world.
Yep.
With the brightness of his coming. That's powerful.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the work of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Same one in verse 8. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
So those who perish are those who did not love the truth. Simple. So we are here at Just a Word, telling the truth about all of this. All right? Those who do not love the truth will not be saved. They will perish. Continue.
And for this cause, Allah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
If you don't want to believe the truth, he's going to let you believe a lie. And you're going to be sent a strong deception, strong delusion. Strong, strong, strong. It's going to look so, you're going to be looking at things and say, yes. You ever talk to them about JC? Oh, there's power in JC. You can't tell me anything. I believe in JC. Believe in that name, this and that. And there's power. I've seen miracles, this and that. Strong delusion. So we tell them, you do not seek after what you see. Seek after the truth. That's it. Seek after the truth. Don't seek after what you see, your powers and everything. No, even the wicked magicians in the time of Moses had powers and showed miracles. Continue.
But what we see is not even a level of seeking. They just believe and work with it.
That's it. They had pleasure in unrighteousness.
They love it.
All right, so we have to ask ourselves the question, do I have pleasure in unrighteousness? I think we did Revelation 4. Let's go Revelation 18, 1-6. I think we did verse 4. Go ahead.
And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his splendor. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and he is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every soul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
You see why we have to flee from the midst of Babylon? It's become the habitation of devils.
The place where them there. The place where they are.
And the hold of every, not some, every foul spirit. And a cage of unclean and hateful bird.
So that would be in the midst of her. That's where all these things will be.
Verse 3 tells us why.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
That's why all of this is so evil. All of the evil is there. We already did 4 and 5, I think. All right?
Yeah.
So, the Gentiles know the power of our people, and they go all the way to suppress our people. First Maccabees 3:13-31. First Maccabees 3. Go ahead.
Now when Seron, the prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment.
Who do what?
Despise the king's commandment.
So that's why we're telling you that when we are in captivity and the king comes with evil, we have to despise their commandments. Remember, we're speaking about the Christians thinking that whatever is given to them, they have to obey. All right, continue.
So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. And when he came near to the going up of Bethhoron, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who, when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day.
There's the power of Yahuwah. They have more people than the Israelites. All right? And the Israelites have been fasting all day. Two negatives against them. Let's see what Judah said. Is he going to say, okay, let's give up then and we'll try another day?
Unto whom Judas answered, it is not hard matter for many to be shut up in the hand of a few. And with Allah of heaven, it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children, and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore, Yahuwah himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. Now, as soon as he had left off speaking, he leaped suddenly upon them, and so Seran and his host was overthrown before him.
Weak and with fewer numbers, and destroy them.
And then fast all day. So it's not them, it's the most, you know.
Exactly. That is a lesson for us. Continue.
And they pursued them from the going down of Bethhoron unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistine. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them, insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talk of the battles of Judas. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation, wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army.
All right, so the point we are making here, the Gentiles will do anything and everything to suppress our people. Anything and everything. We go to Psalm 83 and it tells us that they hate Yahuwah and hate his people, and they want to wipe out the name of Israel from off the face of the earth. So Antiochus, the king, the Greek, who eventually, after several years, I think the children of Israel kept Antiochus at bay for 20 years until the Greeks were finally able to conquer the Israelites. Now, when Antiochus heard that Judas was whipping their butts, he got very angry and gathered all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. Continue.
He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasure failed, and that the tributes in the country were small, because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land in taking away the laws which had been of old times, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer, nor to have such gift to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abounded above the kings that were before him.
So Antiochus got so desperate, he was willing to even go bankrupt just to defeat this small band of people. And that is how they are today. They will do everything to destroy the children of Israel. Verse 31.
Wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money.
All right, so that's how far they will go to suppress us. First Maccabees 3:34 to 36. Okay. 34. Verse 34.
Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwell in Judah and Jerusalem.
35.
To wit, that he should send an army against them to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away their memorial from that place.
All right, what does this remind you of? Psalms 83. That the name of Israel
May no longer be remembered.
Shall be no more in remembrance. This is the nation. This is how they view us people. Don't think that any of these nations can like us. It is a perpetual hatred. This has been happening over the ages and will continue to happen. That is why they hate our people. And we are wondering, why do they hate us like this? It is perpetual. Can't stop. Go ahead.
And that he should place strangers in all their quarters and divide their land by lot.
Right. 39. 39. Go ahead.
And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded. So they went forward with all their power and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much, with servants, and come into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them.
Hearing of the fame of the Israelites, they wanted to buy them for slaves. Wow. That is why we are here.
Yep.
In this side of the world.
They know our values.
They know our value and they know our power. And that's why we were able to build up this side of the world and to build up the United States to be the greatest nation in the earth. All right? It's no coincidence. 42.
Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them.
Continue.
They said one to another, let us restore the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
As long as we turn back to the Most High, in righteousness, in holiness, nothing can defeat us. Next verse, please.
Then was the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for a battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down.
The sanctuary was trodden down. The temple was trodden down. Continue.
And aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place. And joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased.
What did the Israelites do now? 36. Oh. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Maspah over against Jerusalem, for in Maspah was a place where they prayed aforetime in Yasharal. When they had fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Now this verse is very important. The heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images, and this they have successfully done today. You see any movie, you see white Moses, white Abraham, white JC, white Jeremiah, white. Everything whitewashed. All right? White Messiah, white everything. Yeah? 49.
They brought also the priest's garments and the first fruits and the tithes and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary trodden down and profaned, and thy priests are in the heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest.
All right. So we're just showing that to show how the heathen will do anything and go to every extent in order to destroy our tabernacle. Psalm 74, 3-9. How much time we on? Let me reach nowhere. Psalm 74, 3-9. All right. Read, please.
Hold on, okay. Okay, let me try.
Lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolations, even all that the enemy hath done wickedly in the sanctuary. The wicked, as we are saying, always aim for the temple. And if our bodies are the temples today, don't we think the wicked are aiming after our temples today? Most definitely. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregations. They set up their ensigns for signs. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregations. They set up their banners for signs. That's what they do. They paint their images and they set up their thing. That's why we tell them, that's why they gave us JC, Jesus Christ. That is their Messiah. The Lord is Baal. God is good, which is why they say God is good.
Exactly.
It's an idol. Okay? They set up their ensigns for signs. Their enemies roar in the midst of thy congregation. Verse 5.
A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once. It's gone again.
Gone again?
Yeah, keep on going in and out.
With axes and hammers. They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. So in Psalms 83, it tells us, they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Because they hate the Most High, whenever they get the chance, they burn down his sanctuary and cast down the dwelling place of his name to the ground. So they want his name to be destroyed, which is why they changed the names in the scriptures and gave us their names to exalt their gods. Want to be like.
They tried so many areas.
To be like Yahuwah. All right? Yeah, it's back again. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of Alua in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. So when this happens, the Most High just takes away his ruach and allows them to do it. Verse 10 says, O Alua, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? And we saw earlier that he gives them length.
Yep.
Why withdrawest thou thy hand, even thy right hand, pluck it out of thy bosom? All right? So, yeah. And again in Judith 9, verse 8. Judith 9, verse 8. Read it, please.
Throw down their strength in thy power and bring down their force in thy wrath. For they have purpose to defile thy sanctuary and to pollute the tabernacle where thy glorious name resteth, and to cast down with sword the horn of thy altar.
See that? They always try to pollute his tabernacle, always try to defile his sanctuary. And if our body is now the temple, it's a no-brainer that they will be working overtime.
To do anything.
Ah. All right. Well, I have to try to speed this up. So, I'll probably just talk about this without going into all of that. The abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel. In Daniel 11, Daniel prophesied about the abomination of desolation. And in the book of 1 Maccabees 1:44-64, it describes the abomination of desolation under King Antiochus. In Matthew 24, and this is in chronological order, by the way, Daniel first, then Maccabees, then Matthew 24, the Messiah prophesied of an abomination of desolation that would profane the temple. And we know that after the Messiah, he told the disciples that not one stone shall be left upon another in the temple, meaning he was prophesying of the destruction of the physical temple. So when he spoke of the abomination of desolation in Matthew 4:15-22, he was actually speaking of the desolation of the spiritual temple, which is our bodies. Which is why he said, when you see the abomination and spoken of by Daniel, he said, whoever readeth, let him understand. So it would not be plain. All right? So around the time of the abomination of desolation, then we're going to have the two olive trees. The two olive trees. Revelation 11, 1-4. All right, the two olive trees are going to make a last stand, delivering the word before the Most High's wrath is executed. Read, please.
And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of Aloha and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
All right, so with the temple of Aloha, in the end, the Gentiles will be treading it down. They will be treading down the holy city for 3.5 years. And of course, this 3.5 years is repeated several times. The beast will be ruling for 3.5 years. Children of Israel will be in the wilderness for 3.5 years. All right, this is end time. Verse 3.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before Aloha of the earth.
All right, so these are the 2 olive trees that matches up with the things in Zechariah 5, I think. But we won't go into that right now. But only that we should know that the Gentiles will be allowed to tread down the temples in the end until the Most High sends his 2 witnesses and the Messiah returns to gather his people. And the Messiah will redeem us in the fullness of the time of the Gentiles. Luke 21:24. So the Gentiles will be allowed to tread down the temples of the Most High, but then the Messiah is going to return. Luke 21:24. Read, please.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles. be fulfilled.
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Romans 11:25 to 26. Again, the time of the Gentiles has to be fulfilled. Romans 11:25 to 26. Read, please.
For I would not, brethren, that he should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
So while the Gentiles of the world, our people are allowed to be blinded. And it's a simple thing because we are in captivity under the curses of the law, worshiping other gods that our fathers never knew, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. And when the fullness of the Gentiles comes in, what will happen?
And so all Israel shall be saved. As it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
So at the time, the fullness of the time of the Gentiles, then the Messiah will come and deliver his people. Okay? So, let's look now to the third temple, the third physical temple, third temple prophecies. 1 Chronicles 17:3 to 15. 1 Chronicles 13, did I say? No, 17. What did I say? 17:3 to 15. Go ahead.
And it came to pass the same night that the word of Allah came to Nathan, saying,
Now, this was a prophecy of David and his kingdom. And it was directed to Solomon or Solomon in the short run. But we're going to see that there are some things there that are for the long run, the final temple. And we're going to identify those keywords that point to the final third temple. Go ahead.
Go and tell David, my servant, thus saith Yahuwah, thou shalt not build me an house to dwell in. For I have not dwelt in an house since the day that I brought up Israel unto this day, but have gone from tent to tent, and from one tabernacle to another. Whosoever I have walked with, wheresoever I walked with all Israel, spake I a word to any of the judges of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people, saying, why have ye not built me an house of cedars? Now therefore thus shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, even from following the sheep, that thou shouldest be ruler over my people Israel. And I have been with thee whithersoever thou hast walked, and have cut off all thine enemies from before thee.
All right, hold on. Verse 11.
And it shall come to pass, when thy days be expired, that thou must go to be with thy fathers, that I will raise up thy seed after thee, which shall be of thy sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me an house, and I will establish this throne forever.
All right, here's the key word, forever. Solomon's throne was not established forever. All right, so this seed has to be Messiah, Yahusha, the final third temple. Verse 13.
I will be his father, and he shall be my son, and I will not take my mercy away from him, as I took it from him that was before thee. But I will settle him in mine house and in my kingdom forever, and his throne shall be established forevermore.
All right, that's it. Solomon's throne was not established forever, because right now, there is no king in Yasharal on this earth right now. We know we have our King, Messiah, waiting to return. But it says when he established it, it would be forever. So, yeah. So this was speaking about the third temple, Isaiah 58:12. Third temple, Isaiah 58:12. Go ahead, please.
And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of path to dwell in.
All right. This is speaking about the third temple in the end. We shall build the old waste places and raise up the foundations of many generations. Thou shalt be called repairer of the breach. All right. And we were looking at the book of Haggai the other morning and looking at the implications of the book of Haggai. I think we should look at it now for those who were not there with us. Haggai 1, 7 to 15. All right, the book of Haggai tells us that when the Most High is going to rebuild his temple, that he will bring down those of his people who he wants to rebuild his temple. Now, this spiritually has much bearing on us, because if you have the experience of suddenly your life takes a turn for the worse and nothing that you do can make you recover, everything that you do is just not good, then you know that the Most High is calling you to rebuild that temple, your body, to return to him. Read from verse 17.
Thus say Yahuwah Sabaoth, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, say Yahuwah.
These are for those who is calling to build his house, to build his temple. Verse 9.
He looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when he brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? Said Yahuwah of hosts. Because of mine house that is waste, and he run every man unto his own house.
Say us there looking in this world, running after success in this world, trying to find your way in this world, to be successful in this world, and not caring about the Most High. If he has chosen you, he will bring you down to the dirt. Verse 10.
Therefore, the heavens over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. And I call for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands.
All the labor of your hands.
All.
Everything you do, nothing can work. Things working for everybody else, and it's just not working for you. All right? When are you going through that in this time? Because let me tell you, the Most High is just. All those people who have no chance of a salvation with him, who are not going to be saved, those people are going to be able to live comfortably at this time. I'm telling you, that's how the Most High works. So he gives them their blessings on this earth because he knows nothing is left for them. For those who will be blessed in the kingdom to come, he takes away the earthly blessings now and brings them down to the point when they can turn to him because he knows that they have a chance at his kingdom. That's how he works. All right? Verse 12.
Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of Yahuwah their Elohim, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as Yahuwah their Elohim had sent him. And the people did fear before Yahuwah.
All right, so you are brought down low and you turn to him. You obey his voice. You fear before him. Let's see what's going to happen. 13.
Then spake Haggai, Yahuwah's messenger, in Yahuwah's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, say Yahuwah.
I am with you. So when he brings you down and you turn to him and fear him and walks in his way,
I'm with you.
He is with you. Mission accomplished. And that is why when he builds you back up to where he wants you. So we go now to Haggai 2, 10 to 19 to continue the same principle. Haggai 2, 10 to 19. So those people who are struggling, trying to make it and everything is going wrong, just turn to Yahuwah.
In the 4th and 20th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yahuwah by Haggai the prophet, saying, Thus saith Yahuwah Shabbat, ask now the priests concerning the law, saying, if one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread, or pottage, or wine, or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priest answered and said, no. Then said Haggai, if one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the prophet answered and said, it shall be unclean.
All right, so a holy thing cannot automatically make something clean, but an unclean thing can pollute and make things unclean. Continue.
Then answered Haggai and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith Yahuwah, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. And now I pray you, consider from this day and upward.
From before?
What verse is there again?
15.
I'll just do over. And now I pray you, consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of Yahuwah, since those days were, when one came to an heap of 20 measures, there were but 10. When one came to the press vat for a draw out 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. I smote you with blasting and with mildew and with hail in all the labors of your hands. Yet ye turn not to me, say Yahuwah.
All right, so you see, the smiting is for you to turn to him. But verse 18,
consider now from this day and upward, from the 4th and 20th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of Yahuwah's temple was laid, consider it.
So from the day the foundation, when you turn to him, the day you turn to him and lay the foundation of your temple. And how do you lay the foundation of your temple? Repent and be baptized in the name of Yahushua Mashiach for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of Ruach HaKodesh. That is the entry into the new covenant, when the Most High can make his abode in your temple. From the day that you do that, verse 19.
Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, as yet the vine and the fig tree, and the pomegranate and the olive tree had not brought forth. From this day will I bless you.
From this day will I bless you. So when you turn to the Most High, that is when you will be blessed. All right? And then he will repair the desolations of the former temple. Okay? Ezra 9, 8 to 9. How much time gone? Ezra 9, 8 to 9. Whoa. Ezra 9, 8 to 9. Whoa. So long. Go ahead.
And now for a little space, grace had been shewed from Yahuwah, our Alua, to leave us a remnant to escape and to give us a nail in his holy place, that our Alua may lighten our eyes and give us a little reviving in our bondage. For we were bondmen, yet our allure had not forsaken us in our bondage, but had extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our allure, and to repair the desolations thereof, and to give us a wall in Judah and in Jerusalem.
All right, just as in the second temple period here, when Ezra was speaking about the rebuilding of the temple, it is the same thing that's going to happen in the end, the repairing of the desolations. This is what's going to happen, and then we're going to, the third temple will be set up. Amos 9:11-12 is going to tell us that the repairing of the desolation shall be in the end time. And this has not happened as yet. This will be happening in the future when the Messiah returns. And we're going to see in Amos 9, it is telling us that this will happen when the Messiah returns, and not when the Jewish Messiah returns, the Israelis' Messiah, but when Yahushua HaMashiach returns. Go ahead.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, say Yahuwah that does this, that doeth this.
So the Israelis, I think the Israelis say the Edomites are the Arabs, I think, because they are their enemies. Okay? We know who the Edomites are. Verse 13.
Behold, the days come.
No. That's it. That they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen. All right? Raise up the ruins and build it as in the days of old. So when the Messiah returns, that is when the third temple will be built. You see it? Raise up his ruins and build it as in the days of old. Isaiah 30:18-28. Go ahead, please.
And therefore will Yahuwah wait, that he may be gracious unto you. And therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For Yahuwah is the allure of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. And though Yahuwah give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Mm-hmm. And thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When he turned to the right hand, and when he turned to the left.
So this is in the end time. The Most High is going to rise up teachers. He's going to teach his people in the way when it is time to rebuild the temple. 22.
Ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and the ornament of thy molten images of gold. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt cast them away as a menstruous cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, get thee hence. Then shall he give the rain of thy seed, that thou shalt sow the ground withal, and bread of the increase of the earth. And it shall be fat and plenteous. In that day shall thy cattle feed in large pastures.
All right, hold on. No. All right, let's go to the next one. 2 Ezra 15:20-27. Read, please.
Behold, saith Allure, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from this rising of the sun, from the south, from the east and Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them.
The temple that is being built is going to be built to get all the nations are going to come to worship the Most High. Read, please.
Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith Yahuwah. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and had consumed the foundations of the earth. And the sinner like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, say Yahuwah. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary.
Defile not my sanctuary. Do not defile my temple. All of this is for those who defile his temple. 26.
For Yahuwah knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
Stop there. See this verse? He knows all them that sin against them, and therefore, as a result, delivereth them to death and destruction. 27.
For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and he shall remain in them. For Allure shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. So stay there a little bit. So when the scripture says, flee from the midst of Babylon, it says, for now our plagues come upon the whole earth, and he shall remain in them. You see that? In them. For Allure shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. So if he command us to flee and we don't do it, we sin. So we're going to get burned.
We're going to be in sin. We're going to be right in the midst of sin, the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Because if you get to know that in the midst of Babylon is corruption and all those negativity, and you choose to be in the midst, I mean, that's just it. That's your choice.
Yep. All right, trying to speed up everything here. We have some scriptures, we'll probably just leave them here because it's getting kind of the rebuilding of the third temple. We're looking, all of these are prophecies that point to the rebuilding of the third temple at the time of the Messiah, when Yahushua HaMashiach returns. So the temple will be in Jerusalem, and the nations are going to bring their glory into the temple. They are going to come to the temple to worship. And that's why it says its people shall be priests in Isaiah 61, 4-11. Its people shall be priests in Zechariah, is it 14 or verse 6? It tells you that the nations will come to keep the Feast of Tabernacle in Jerusalem. So you can go and check out these verses as the time is running. Yeah. So we're looking now at how the Gentiles profane our temple today. And we're going to look at 8 ways that Babylon defiles our temple. How do the Gentiles profane our temple? Know ye not that ye are the temple of Allure, and the spirit of Allure dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of Allure, him shall Allure destroy, for the temple is holy, or Kodesh, which temple ye are. This is the foundation. The Gentiles always strive to profane the temple, and that is what they are doing today. And we're going to be looking at 8 ways in which Babylon defiles our temple. And the first way is one that we spoke about before, and that is food. All right, look at that picture. If you look at that picture, you see why we cannot be holy or righteous in Babylon. cannot. Almost every popular, common, everyday item that we eat is defiling, has pork inside of it. Popcorn, what's that? Doritos, Cheetos, one a day, Tylenol, Benadryl, Crest, Jiffy, Clorets, cornflakes, Pop-Tarts, macaroni and cheese. You see that? Almost everything. What? Yep. They put pork in everything. Remember, these people never change.
Even the medication, well, I mean, that one should be very out there. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Benadryl stuff.
Yeah. These are common medications that you...
Centrum.
Yes.
What they give them one a day stuff, like you have to get those. Well, they think they have to get those.
Yeah.
So we're seeing we definitely have to move away from their pharmacia.
You have to. We're going to be totally polluted, and it's going to be impossible to be pure before the Most High. Even the toothpaste. I was looking and I saw even Colgate toothpaste. I thought I could escape Crest with Colgate. But I'm seeing Colgate as well. Polluted. It's not in this picture, but I saw it in another picture. Right? And the Most High gave us his food laws and told us not to eat pork. And these people always use pork throughout history to pollute his people. That's why they put pork in everything. So you are among them, and so you are going to eat their pork.
So what I'm seeing here, bro, they know that they are coming with their MOB, their vax, right? And before now, they actually had their talks, their plans, how to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
So they were planning also, there might be some who will realize that it is it, and they won't take it. So let's go and make sure we put this food on their table. So they still will be consuming the whole pork meat,
mm-hmm.
and that will still destroy their temple. You see how wicked these people are?
Yep. And pork is just one item. There are also foods that they put abrasive chemicals in. We have genetically modified food. We have the spraying of the food with fertilizers. With what do you call it? What do you call this spray? Insecticides, pesticide sprays that they use to spray the food. All of this is polluting our temples. All of this is the pollution of temples. All right? So, there's no way you can be among them. I hear about bread. I hear about everything, almost everything that we consume. Cheese. Almost everything is polluted. That's why the Most High says, flee from the midst of Babylon. And for those who don't understand the midst, it does not mean Babylon is a system that is everywhere, monetary system that is everywhere, monetary and religious system that is everywhere. So to flee from the midst of Babylon is to take yourself out of their system, out of their monetary, financial, religious system. All right? Yeah.
So looking on this chart, the only way we can escape all of these things is to flee from the midst, fleeing from relying on the system for food to eat. So if we take away ourselves to a remote place where we plant our own food, we know what we plant. That is the only way we're going to escape these. Because in the midst of Babylon is what they present to us. We don't have a choice, basically, in Babylon. We're going to take what they give us. Hey, eat this. Otherwise, know that. Or all they have to give us is poisonous food. So, family, I don't know how much more to say this. We cannot be in the midst of wickedness and not receiving that which is wicked.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Here we have Kraft singles. That's cheese. And I hear even soap, sodium, you have a name, sodium tally. I don't remember it exactly. But whenever you see that, you know, tallowate, yeah. Anytime you see that, sodium tallowate, anytime you see that, you know that it is pork-based. And when you do that, you escape, but they might have the pork in one of those FD&C yellow number 40 or number this. They give different numbers and they give codes. They also use artificial flavor. They also put pork in the artificial flavor. So you see something with artificial flavor or natural flavor. And pork is among it, and you don't know what is that natural flavor. There's no way you can escape them. No way.
So what I'm also looking on, they could use a dog, or they could use a donkey.
Yes.
But because the pork is what the scriptures speak against in that manner, they're making sure that they use that which is abominable to still get us. Family, we are living in a wicked world system. And from what I'm seeing here, we will not have a chance if we're going to stay in the midst of this wickedness. Because being in the midst of Babylon is doing the things of the wicked and are expecting from the wicked system. So the onus is upon us to flee or stay. That's it. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, and we don't have the choice of ignorance. Some people can say, oh, well, I did not know. The word says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because you seek not knowledge. The onus is on us to seek. All right? Because we have been given this temple and we have been given it for safekeeping. The Most High expects us to seek. All right? All right. So that's food. Let's look at a second way in which Babylon defiles our temple. That is through sorcery. Sorcery, medication. And we know Revelation 18:23 tells us about sorcery. By thy sorceries, Babylon's sorceries, were all nations deceived. And that sorcery we know is from the Greek pharmakia, which means medication. And we can just look at the sign for pharmacy, and we see a serpent wrapped around a pole. And of course, the medication that is fooling this world now, as you look in the picture on the top left, is that injection that they are telling people to take, the mark of the beast. And we see there are sorcery pills down here in the bottom right. As long as we are in the midst of these people partaking of all of these sorceries, then our temples cannot be holy. And remember, it says, by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. We do not want to be deceived by this sorcery. All right? So through the healthcare system, we are deceived by the wicked. That is another way in which Babylon defiles our temple, pushing in this mRNA liquid, this technology inside the body of the set-apart people of the Most High. Babylon, the wicked.
All right, so on this chart, we see the medications. And this which I'm about to say, some might stone me, but I will accept the stoning for the truth. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Okay. For every one of us today who are saying that we are walking in truth, we are following the way, basically. We are following the way, we're seeking after righteousness. And before I say that part, we should know by now that our lives are not in our hands, right? Mm-hmm. It is in whose hand?
Most High.
The Most High. So he's one that can break and make, right? Mm-hmm. So we cannot save ourselves, okay? So when we see all these medication, we know that the aim for people is, hey, I don't want to die. give me these medication. And we packed up our body with sorcery. Even when we come to the knowledge that yes, it is sorcery, many are still taking their medication. Many are still taking their medication. And I'm trying to understand, and I cannot understand how or why a person who say he or she is a believer will go and take these medication from those scientists. The Most High knows our temper, and he prepares everything that we need in the herbs. And we allow these scientists to go and use the same herb and remanufacture it and reconstruct it and say, hey, take this. They work their hobby on it. I mean, they wrote the sorceries, for real. Mm-hmm. So any one of us here today is still taking medication, I have to say something is wrong. Because if I'm sick right here now, and that sick will lead to death, so let it be. What I'm supposed to be doing, if I realize I'm sick and this sickness is unto death, I just need to make sure that my life is in order with my Heavenly Father. So when that time comes and my eyes are closed, my heart starts beating, I shall be in a good place. But if you're going to go to pharmacia, he's saying we are trusting in man's medication. That's it for real.
And we just have to study the natural medicine because he gave us the different medications naturally.
In the herbs, yes.
In the bushes and the herbs that we have.
So again, lack of knowledge. We don't seek knowledge. So it is for us now to go and seek out those. As a matter of fact, I think it was last week we went to a place and we saw a plant with some fruits on it.
Oh, yes.
And I said, what kind of plant is that? I mean, I've never seen it anywhere else before now. And it was both me and Brother Kazak, and we did not know what it is. And not long from that, we installed an app on our phone, and that app, Google Lens. I said, let me see what this thing is. And I go and I scan the fruit, and it pulled up, and it gave a whole bunch of information on that fruit, on that tree. Even the leaves, the stem, are very, very much high in so much different stuff. A lot. But he was reading, and he keep on reading, non-stop. And there are still more benefits he didn't read. You know what I did? I break off a piece and take it home. I'm making some tea. It tastes good. So if we don't seek, we will not find. We could just say, look at that tree. It looks different, and walk away. We see it diligently and find that it is good. So people, let go of their pharmacia medication. It will kill us slowly but surely. And even if the pill itself don't kill us, disobedience will kill us because we are trusting in what man's made, what man made, and not putting our trust in Yahuwah. That is it. Very, very serious.
And the name of that plant is the creeping fig, which is a favorite over there in China and Japan. All right, let's look at another way in which Babylon defiles our temple. Religion. We've spoken about it so many times. The history of Christianity, if you look at Christianity here, what do you see in common in all of these images? Huh? Which white and black? Edomites, all white people. These are the wicked of the world. The tabernacles of Edom. These are the people who hate the Most High and hate his people. They have given us a religion, and our people hug on to it for dear life. Hug on to it for dear life, believing it to be true. All white folks. Yes? This is not our thing. This is the religion of the oppressors. The religion of the wicked. Okay? And of course, we give some verses on these. Isaiah 38 to 17. so that you can go and look it up as it pertains to it. All right, let's go to another one because we've been through this several times. 8 ways Babylon defiles our temple. Clothing, adorning our temple. Why you don't look on the woman over there? Yeah, well. All right, let's look at the woman first. Here we have women in pants. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5 tells us that a woman must not wear that which pertains to a man. And if we go to the history of pants, we know that it pertained to a man up to less than 100 years ago, a little over 100 years ago. Women started wearing pants. This pertains to a man. This is an abomination. He says that all that do that is abomination unto Yahuwah. Likewise, woman must not wear, men must not wear that which pertaineth to a woman. All that do so are abomination unto Yahuwah. And then in Numbers 15:37-41, he told us what we should wear. He said to wear fringes on the borders of our garments. That is the simple dressing that he has given us. All right? So Babylon defiles us with their fashions and with their dressing. And in Zephaniah 1 verse 8, it tells you that the Most High is going to destroy all of those who are clothed in strange apparel. These are strange apparels over here that women have for us. For us, it is strange. For them, Gentiles, do your thing. But for our people, it's strange apparel. Okay? Anything to say on that one? Or go on. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. A fifth way that Babylon defiles our temple today is with what we say, what we think. Media, internet, television, radio, newspapers, magazines, all of those. Babylon uses those to pollute us. It is the media that is being used to program people today to take the abomination of desolation, to take the liquid injection that is defiling people all over the world. So media brings us news. A lot of people watch news. News is programming. Tell people all the while, notice that they stare straight in your eyes. What do you think they're doing? They're hypnotizing you. That's what the hypnotist does. Stare straight in your eyes. He said, look in my eyes. Yeah? Yeah, the news pollutes you. TV with their lies. Nudity on the television pollutes you. Pornography on the internet, on DVDs, etc., pollutes you. And it brings us to Psalms 101 with that lie that you bring into your house, the deception that you bring into your house using the television. All right? Another way that Babylon defiles us, music. Up here we have the so-called rappers. We have these so-called, what they call them, heavy metal people. All Satanists. And over here, we have a strange one over here. Gospel singers. All right? People believe that gospel is holy and gospel is right. Gospel pushes the idolatry of Christianity. It pushes the false gods. Have us singing and giving honor to JC, to the LORD, and to God. All right? Most of these gospel singers, when they start singing, they have to sell their souls. They will look humble, but after a while, when you look on their album covers, you see people looking just like these singers from the pop culture. And then they start going after money, 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 money. All right? So music is used to taint our people, to get them to follow and give honor to Satan and his gods and his devils. All right? Another way that Babylon defiles us is through sexual sins, fornication, adultery. We call that over here, LGBTQABCDEF, the alphabet people, the corrupt alphabet people, sexual sins. We don't have bestiality on it and all sorts of sexual sins. Babylon sets up his world to get us to okay fornication. If you listen to reggae music, for example, dancehall music, it's all about promiscuity and fornication. Beanie man fi have enough girl and girl in a bungle. Fornication. The songs that are popular and daring in our culture are the songs of fornication. Yeah, all of that. All right? So Babylon tempts us with sexual sins. As long as you're in the midst of Babylon, it's going to be almost impossible. And anyone today who has what do you call it? Who has a relationship and doesn't have trouble with fornication and all of that, then you are lucky, as they say in the world. Because as soon as you start, people start bombarding down because of the programming of Babylon.
Yeah, and also, again, this going back to being in the midst of Babylon. You know, time passed, you know, you would see some kind of picture in bars only. Mm-hmm. Nude, half naked, female, and all those. Now they are almost everywhere. In the regular stores, it is there. Everywhere you turn, it's like some female half naked or some men and women doing all those stuff. Mm-hmm. In front of your eyes. As walking, it is right there. Mm-hmm. So how could you be in the middle of Babylon? And, you know, we just have to understand that these things are placed there for a reason, deception. Mm-hmm. We cannot do it on our own. So if we go to where the Most High said to go, he will do the rest.
Yep.
That's it.
And in this picture at the top right here with Christians, there was a parade and we saw Christians now saying that they are sorry for condemning homosexuality. No, homosexuality is in the Bible. They are saying they are sorry because the people, the alphabet people, have successfully lobbied to say that if you are against them, then you hate. So Christians who say they are of love, he says we are sorry for showing hate, not love. Yeah? It's not sharing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Not love. So to say that something is wrong, they say it is hate. So Christians now are saying, we are sorry, we should have showed you love.
So all of those Christians who are saying that, they are loving what the Most High hate, making it them be the opposite of what the Most High is saying. We have to love what the Most High love and hate it, period. Whatever he hate, we must hate it too. So they are bowing to our system by saying, oh, I'm sorry to say that you are wrong, even though you are wrong.
Mm-hmm. And you know where that comes from? That comes from their hyper do not judge. Yes. So anything you see at all that is wrong, and you point it out to be wrong, they say you are judging. All right? They ignore verses like this. Isaiah 58:1 that says, cry aloud, spare not. Show my people their transgressions and the house of Israel their sins. All right? So because of that now, their fear of judging, they are now afraid to say anything. They say, leave everything to God. All right? All right, the eighth and final one is that Babylon defiles us, is offering unto idols. So we have over top right here, we have Christmas offered unto idol, the piece of Saturnalia offered to Saturn, the god Saturn. We have Easter, an offering unto Ishtar or Queen of Heaven, or whichever other name you want to call her. And up top right here, we have offering unto Moloch. 1 Corinthians 10:20 tells you that the things that the Gentiles offer, they offer to devils, which is the Christmas and the Easter. And Leviticus 22:3 tells us about offering unto Moloch. Now in Jamaica here, we have, and in the United States and in other countries, when they have given their children over to take this injection in order for them to go back to school, that is offering our children in sacrifice unto Moloch. That's offering our children into sacrifice for staying in the Babylonian system. All right? So Babylon will defile us. So as long as we remain in Babylon's system, and our children have to go to their schools, our children have to be sacrificed in order to continue in Babylon's education system. All right? So that's what I have to say for today. Couldn't go through it in detail as I would have liked because the time has flown so quickly. But here it is, the truth about the New Covenant Temple. New Covenant Temple. Repent and be baptized in the name of Yahushua Mashiach for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. When you deny yourself, the Ruach Yahuwah will dwell in you and will cause you to walk in his statutes and in his commandments. And then we are charged to keep our temple holy, to keep our temples pure. But Babylon has been given the task to pollute us. They have been given the opportunity to set traps for us. It is up to us to consciously not let Babylon defile us, to conscientiously not allow ourselves to be defiled by Babylon. So we have to know what defiles us. We have to know what it means to keep our temple holy, set apart, and pure. So it's very important that we understand the New Covenant Temple. Our body is a temple, but if we defile or mar the temple of Alua, then Yahuwah will destroy our temples. All right? Brother Mahar, you have anything to say before we close? Huh? El Pedro, ¿dónde está usted? Is there? No. It's gone already. It's gone already.
All right, so here it is. It was all said. It's just for us now to continue to apply that which was taught today. Our bodies is a temple of the Most High, and a chart was put up so we can see that there are so much things that we didn't even know or even think could be corrupted by that pork, you know. So let us continue to throw out every poison from our household that we may not be contaminated, because these are some tricks from the enemy. The whole world is deceived by Satan, and this is just a part of his deception. So what do we do now? If we cannot get rid of these things from the wicked, it is saying that we are still in the midst of Babylon, still in the midst of her. Let us come out that we may not be cut off in our iniquity. Let us continue to deny ourselves from all this food, from all this clothing, from all these things that will contaminate our temple. Because again, the Ruach will not dwell in us if we are not the temple, because it is us being clean, making us the real temple of the Most High. So walking around and saying, oh, I'm the temple of the Most High, and you're still filthy, we are left uncovered. Our nakedness will be shown. So family, let's get together, push towards the mark of the higher calling, denying ourselves in everything of this world, So in the end, we shall receive our crown.
All right, so let's go. All right, thank you for watching. This is Kazak Aliyahu Yasharal here from Just a Word. Just want to tell our listeners, we are aware that our websites are not working at the moment, but we'll have to spend some time to see if I can get them going, if we can get them going back up as per normal. So justaword.org is not working, neither is justawordradio.com, neither is justaword.tv. But something that I'll have to, hope I'll have the energy after Shabbat to sit on it and see if I can figure it out. All right. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and just share it with others. All right. This is a teaching of sanctification, a teaching of getting ourselves in righteousness, to get ourselves away from the way of the world and to get ourselves perfected in the sight and the eyes of the Most High. All right. So thanks once again for watching. Until then, shalom, everyone. Shalom.